Hey guys, and welcome back to chapter 4 of The Truth About Failure. Now, in chapter 4, it's titled The Road to Success is Fraught with Peril. And we're going to really spend some time in talking about the crazy twists and turns and everything that happens in our success journeys. Now, I'm going to really just jump into it right away here. Stick with me because I got my PowerPoint I'm running here, right? All right, so what does success mean to you? Now, this is an important conversation because success is different for everybody, right? Your success is not the same as my success. The way that success looks to me is, in coaching, in title work, in real estate, there's a beach involved, there's some beautiful houses involved, there's investment properties involved. My success doesn't necessarily have to be what you deem as a success. And what I have found in coaching several clients through the years, by the way, as I'm recording this, I am 10 years in the coaching business. I've coached hundreds of people and I've spoken to thousands and thousands of people from the stage. And everyone that I speak to has a different view on what success really looks like to them, right? And so what it means to you is important for you to figure out. Some things that were essential, and this is a part of the book, and you as you read the book, you'll see this paragraph in here or this sentence in here. Some things that were essential years ago aren't important to me today. As I continue to evolve, I believe that I'll have different versions of success in 10 years. Now, what does it mean? I mean, when I was 12, 13 years old, I had pictures of like Lamborghinis up and stuff like that. And I was growing up in an apartment in the Bronx. I had no idea I would ever own a Lamborghini. As a matter of fact, I don't think at that time I had ever seen a Lamborghini in person. Okay, I want you to really think about that. Nowadays, kids have seen these things. I'd never seen one in person. I had no idea what it really looked like, but I knew I'd seen them on TV. I'd seen them in magazines, and I would rip out pictures of, put them on my wall because I was absolutely in love with Lamborghinis. 10 years later, that wasn't as important to me because 10 years later, I was in the Marine Corps and I was a father of 2 daughters. And so what was successful to me at that time looked like doing my job as a United States Marine, earning my great paycheck, taking care of my family, ensuring everybody's got medical, dental, and everything else, and food in their bellies, a roof over their heads, and all that great stuff, right? Fast forward another 10 years, 35, I'm out of the Marine Corps. So actually just keep going with this and show you where the differences are. Now I'm older. Success to me is so many different things that I know deep in my heart, I'm nowhere near done. And as you read this book, I tell you a story on how my wife and I had a conversation about my retirement. She just kind of laughed at me. She said, there's no way in the world that you're retiring. So what it is to you today may not be what it is to you 10 years from now. And I want you to know that not because I want you to feel bad, like, oh, I shouldn't think about it. You should absolutely think about it. But know that as you continue to grow, your success or your vision of success should be fluid and it should shift with your times. The one key that I will tell you is never allow yourself to backtrack. Never take a step down. Never look in the mirror and go, I can't do it anymore, because you can. You absolutely can. And I want you to, and I know that you're going to be ultimately successful in getting there. Now, let me tell you about my $60,000 a year client, right? My $60,000 a year client was a client that sat in a few of my classes. Now, my classes back in the day, they were rah, we're all going to be millionaires. Let's go get it. I want to see a row of Rolls Royces outside. Everyone here, you're all capable of selling 100 properties a minute, right? And we used to really go in on that, really try to push everybody to sell the most that they can sell. It was very Wall Street-ish like in my brokerage. And she walked out to me after one of the classes. She said, David, I love your coaching. I love your motivation. I love coming to these classes, but I have zero interest in being a top producer. And for some reason, there was like a filter that came in from my brain to my mouth and allowed me the opportunity to say the right thing. The right thing was, please elaborate on that. Help me understand, right? Because in my brain, if you're a top producer, you've got money. If you've got money, it buys you freedoms and opportunities and things of that nature. And for her, she was already semi-free. And this is information I did not know until she told me, David, I own my own house scot-free. I own my car scot-free. I don't owe any money in debt. It's all paid off. I am good, but I am the single mother of 2 children. And it is more important for me to be at baseball games and cheerleading and basketball and everything else than it is for me to be showing people homes. So I took this great opportunity to really sit down with her and go in on what the rest of her year should look like. In order for her to make 60, we aimed for 100. Believe it or not, she made 100 that year, and she still had all the time in the world to be there for her kids, to be the mother she wanted to be, and to be productive in the time that she was meant to be productive. In the last chapter, we talked about priorities and we talked about MMAs, those money-making activities. And that was what allowed her to create massive focus on the things that were important, the things that needed to be done in the moments that she could do them, like when the kids were in school and she could focus on her business, right? And she gave herself, I think it was 2 days out of the weekends every month that would allow her to go show properties. So she would say, hey, this Saturday I'm available. And she would find a babysitter for the kids and stuff. So she flexed. She was flexible with it. She wasn't hard-headed about it. And it really helped her get to a level of income that she really didn't even aspire for, but gave her the freedoms that she desired, right? So the 60K gave her the life, helped her pay for everything her kids wanted, kept food in the refrigerator, but 100K gave her vacation money, gave her opportunities to take her kids to see things that they would not have typically experienced. And so that story is important because there are some of you that are listening to this that are going, Dave, I need to earn 100 grand a year. I need 150. I need 200, whatever the case is. And then there's some of you listening to this that go, yo, Dave, $1 million. I'm looking at it behind you. Let's get there. How do I get there? Let's win, right? I want $1 million a year. No, I want $1 million a month. No, I want $1 million a week. Like, there are people out there that make it, ladies and gentlemen, and every one of us is completely capable of reaching the goal that we can see, the goal that we can dream, the goal that we desire, and the goal that we work for. Now, how I came to freedom, I want to tell you this story real quick, right? Because in 2020, actually in 2020 is when I first started writing this book. And in 2020, I had some very difficult situations come up. There's a big lawsuit. I actually had to take a step back from running my businesses. And it was a real low blow to my family, to my environment, to my connection, to myself, to my excitement, my motivation. A lot of it was gone. I was feeling somewhat depressed. There were certain things that were happening to me. And I reached out to a good friend of mine. His name is James. He owns a company called Maxa out of California. It's a digital marketing company. Amazing guy, amazing company. And I said to him, I said, I know that you have 3 or 4 coaches. Which one of them can help me get this funk out of my head? And so he gave me the name of a great coach. And I spoke to her and I hired her and we worked together for a little bit. And she started telling me that my why was important and critical to my current situation, because if I couldn't see my why, then I couldn't see the excitement to achieve my why. Then I wouldn't find other ways to circumvent or get around the fact that I wasn't doing my business, but maybe I could do something else that would put food on the table, roof over the heads, insurance policy paid for, all that good stuff, right? That being said, we worked on this for about 7 weeks because I was not an easy client, right? First of all, I'm a coach. Second of all, I'm a badass realtor. Third of all, fourth of all, fifth of all, I can tell you all kinds of chips that I had on my shoulders talking to her. And she kept going in and I would say things like my family and my kids and, my desire to help people and so forth and so on. And one day we got on the phone and I said, you know what I really want? You know why I wake up every day? And she said, why? And I said, because I don't want to get old when working. I want to develop freedoms. And she looked at me and she went, oh, that's it. Right? And so we figured it out. Freedom was my why. When I wake up in the morning, the only thing on my mind is financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. Those are the biggest pieces on my mind. So it tells me if I go do the things that I need to do to help you win, I win too. You hire me as your coach, and if you win, I win. You join my real estate brokerage. If you win, I win. You do title work with me. If you win, I win. We're all winning in this together. So I changed my entire platform and my process of thinking. Our mission is to change the lives and businesses in a positive manner to over 1 million people. And this is a part of how I'm doing that. You watching this training right now is a part of how we do that, how we change the game. And as impressive as that sounds, I want you, I'm going to challenge you to work on your why. I want you to understand that you need to really dig into this and dial it down. I just told you it took me 7 weeks. I had lunch with a former client of mine a couple of days ago. It took her a year to realize her why. So don't rush it, dig into it, but make it a practice that you focus on until you really, truly figure it out. Because I'll tell you right now, when I talk about my why and location freedom, I can describe my house in Puerto Rico to a T. I can describe it so well that I know for a fact that when I go looking for a house, I am going to know immediately when it's the house for me. If I close my eyes and I think about it, I can smell the ocean, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I can smell it. I can hear the crashing of the ocean hitting the sand right in front of my house as I'm chilling by the pool. Guys, this is for everybody. I want you to focus on what your why is. Get past and get deeper than your family, your kids, your environment. Really dig in further into positions and places that you hadn't really thought about. When you write down your why, ask yourself why. And why is that important to me? And then dig deeper and dig deeper and dig deeper until you can't anymore. Because once you figure out your why, you're going to figure out why you get up in the morning every day. And that's going to be the biggest piece. Now, your why is going to scare some people. Your why is going to adjust some folks. When I tell people that I grew up with or family members of mine, location, financial, and time freedom, they don't comprehend. They think 9 to 5, 30 years retirement, Medicare, right? And so when you tell this to people, it's okay because no one can judge your why. No one can judge your why. No one can tell you what your real why is. No one deserves or should have the right to adjust you and knock you down in your why and what you're doing. Now, let's talk about work-life balance. We talked about it in a couple past chapters, but I want to bounce on this a little bit, right? Is it BS? Is work-life balance BS? Now, I'm going to tell you that work-life balance is not, it shouldn't even be a sentence because there is no such thing between work-life balance. There is such thing between balance and life and work. And so let me explain this. When people talk about work-life balance, they talk about 50-50, right? Focus half your attention on work, half attention on your life. That's impossible. If you're a super high-level achiever, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You might be 80%, 85%, 90% work, and 10%, 15%, 20% life. Or the other way around, you just absolutely love life. These people that just travel the world on minimal income. Life is more important to them, right? And so the balance in what you want it to be, something will always be sacrificed, right? So read that again. The balance is what you want it to be. Something will always be sacrificed, right? So whatever you desire, I love to work. I love to put in the work. I love to run my companies. I love to do what we do. I love to develop. I like to create. I love people's successes. I love being on stage. I love traveling. That's my life. I am 85% easily work and about 15% life. I'm okay with that because I'm enjoying my life. I'm happy. Some folks are too much life and not enough work. They're not happy. Some people are too much work and not enough life and they're not happy, but I am. And if you can find the balance that makes you happy, then that's the winning situation. So I'm going to give you some tips. Express your reasons for your entrepreneurship to your loved ones. Now, that's a really important piece because if you have a significant other, if you have kids, it is important to express to them why you're doing what you're doing and let them know how hard it is that you work, not because you're bragging or boasting, but because you want them to have the opportunities to understand why you do what you do so that they can be proud when you hit some of these achievements. Now, my wife is an angel, and you'll see her on stage with me sometimes. Her name's Jennifer. She is incredibly supportive. she knows my business, so she can actually jump in and help me any given time with my business. We have a work-life balance there, or I would just say a work relationship balance there, because at any given time, I can ask her for help with what I'm doing and she'll know exactly what to do because she understands my business. She's in the industry. And so that being said, we have a certain balance in that sense. Now, when I travel, I just tell her, hey, babe, I'm going here. Hey, babe, I'm going there. She'll say, what are you going for? I'm speaking at this event, or speaking at that event, or I'm going to be meeting with a group of agents over here, or I'm going to be meeting with a brokerage over here. And she just goes, cool. And sometimes she comes with me on these trips. Sometimes she doesn't. Never get a hard time for doing it. Now, if in the book we talk about this, surround yourself with those who support your focus. And if you're getting a lot of heat for trying to work on your why, be successful, and live the life that you deserve, then you're probably in the wrong environment. So accept the reality that you've chosen for yourself and never regret it. Because if you choose to stay in that environment, then that's on you. And if you choose to leave that environment and find a better space for yourself, that's also on you, right? You be accountable to yourself. You be responsible for the actions that you take. And you'll find that if you can learn how to live with the choices that you make and learn to never regret the decisions that you make, then you'll live a much more exciting, more fruitful life that you can continue to build and create. Now, this falls right into the same chapter in the same thing that we're discussing, which is beware of the crabs, right? You guys have heard the stories, right? Guys walking down the street, bucket full of crabs. There's some crab fishermen there. They're pulling crabs. They throw them in the bucket. They pull crabs. They throw them in the bucket. Buckets have no covers, right? And so every time a crab's starting to come up, they couldn't get out. And some guy comes up, goes to the fisherman. He goes, hey, man, your crabs are going to escape. The fisherman says, they'll never get out the bucket because the other crabs won't let them. As he looks inside the bucket, he sees the crabs coming up to the top, and they're just about there. Boom. Another crab comes up, grabs him by the back of the leg, pulls him down. Now, why do I tell you this? Because humans are very similar to crabs, okay? Humans are very similar to crabs in the fact that we, or humans, most humans, will pull people towards the decisions that they like. Listen, we currently live in a world where people are pushing their ideologies on other people, no matter what it is. It's not a push towards anyone in particular. But if we could understand that everybody has their own decisions, their own lives, and the way they are, and if we could accept each other for that, it'd be such a wonderful world. But that's not the way it works. You're striving for here, and somebody goes, well, that's not going to work. You're striving for here, and somebody goes, how are you going to get there? You're striving for here, and somebody goes, dude, that's not you. It's not your space. It's not in your environment. When I hear that, oh, man, do I get motivated? And as you should too. Never allow the crabs to pull you back into the bucket. If you're striving for something greater and you're trying to get out that bucket to find the next bucket, the bigger bucket, the new thing, and somebody's trying to pull you down to grab that back leg, kick them off, and keep pushing forward. Now, this is from the book, and I want to read this to you. It says, most people who care for you are not intentionally sabotaging or limiting you. Maybe your idea is too innovative for them to grasp. And in their attempt to protect you, they decide to dissuade you, even if it means ridiculing you so that you, quote unquote, wake up. Now, the reason that I read this piece to you and the reason I put this in the presentation, and you'll read it in the book as well, and I would love if you grab your highlighter and you highlight this, is because we just talked about environments and people around you. And when we talk about environments and people around you, we're talking about the crabs. We're talking about the naysayers. We're talking about the people that, AK, don't believe in us, right? And so some of those folks are going to be people that absolutely love you, like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. So, and you might find yourself in a position where you might be pulling yourself a little bit away from those people so that you're not infected with the no's and you can't. But I wrote this in here because a lot of times it has nothing to do with the fact that they don't believe in you. It's that they just can't see it for themselves. And if they can't see it for themselves, they can't imagine it. They don't have that that attitude, that aptitude, the real push to push forward, then they themselves are protecting you, even if it means they're ridiculing you or telling you that it's not something that's designed for you. That is their way of protecting you. So you can't be mad at them, but at the same time, you need to know how to be Teflon. You need to know how to let that slide off of you and keep pushing forward. Now, friends, hey, listen, you win some, you lose some, all right? You don't need to be a big top-notch producer or top high-level entrepreneur to know that friends will come and go in your life. And what you will find is that the higher you push, the different your friends become. And you end up in different circles as you continue to grow in your life. And so today, the people that you have around you, if you are on this mission to grow and be better and stronger and faster and more income than ever before, than anybody else before you, that circle may change. A few of them are going to come with you and they're going to love what you're doing. They're going to be around for you and they're going to applaud you and be proud of you. Many of them are just going to fall off because they don't understand what you're doing anymore. And you're going to end up in a new circle with people that understand what you're doing, that are ahead of you, that are excited to see you. Some might even be afraid that you're coming up, right? Because you might surpass them and you become to get into more competitive market, competitive friends, and people who really push and thrive and help each other out, want to do business. They care about the bottom line. They want to do these things. And they believe you can do it. They believe they can do it. And sometimes you end up with some partnerships and things of that nature. But you'll win some and you'll lose some. Accept it. It's a fact of life. Choose your circle carefully. Squares are always trying to get in, right? Like, listen, keep your circle small, keep your circle tight, and allow your circle to be a part of your success. Do not allow it to be the reason you quit. Remember, this book is called The Truth About Failure, and you can only fail if you quit. So, keep your circles tight, choose your circles carefully, don't let the squares get in. The road to success is fraught with many dangers, even from those closest to you. Know this, they can't break you. Don't let their bullshit hold you back or take you down. The only way you fail is if you quit. Keep your eyes and attention on your prize. Allow no one to take you away from your dreams and your goals. And with that, I leave you on chapter 4. See you in the next chapter. Take care, y'all.